Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at VET. This is going to be a lower time frame video. We already did a higher time frame video above, which you can find over here. So check that out if you're more interested in the higher time frame moves. Okay, so let's get into the charts. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about here is the fact that we actually took this low at this 1535, and we were looking for that potential that within this move we could have had this as a starting move to the upside, looking for an A, B, and a C. Now, because we've taken this low point, this has actually invalidated that count. So what we have to just be mindful of is that either this move was a ending move and it is counted as a 5-wave move, or we would have to just subdivide it and say that this was ABC, looking at this as a corrective structure to the upside. Now, the two ways that we were talking about it within the higher time frame video is that this could be a triangle from further back here, in which we look to complete here, and we're actually looking to break down, or alternatively we do include this within our count. And if that's the case, we could potentially argue that we have a diagonal pattern within this move, so we'd have to be allowing for the fact there's additional structure here. Now, the way I'm looking at this effectively would be that we're looking to break down in a 5-wave move. So this would be treating this as a 1-2, 1-2 here, looking at this as a bigger 3rd wave here, down into this low, and then we're looking for the potential of a rejection in this zone here of this 0.1664 to this 0.171 region. So we've come down to that 1.618 as we can see there. Now what I'm looking for is further continuation to the downside, looking for this 5th wave towards this zone here of this 0.1248 to this 0.141 area. Now, if we do see price start to break down in this way, what we'd want to see is a 5-wave move. So we'd want to form this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get a 3-wave move up, 3, 4, and 5, looking to target out this area. Then from that zone, what we'd have to be on the lookout for would actually be the potential of having a 3-wave move to the upside here, looking to come back into this zone here, and not moving above this 1680. Invalidation of this would actually only really come by moving back above this zone here of this 2151. But what we would be looking for is an additional 5th wave to the downside, which could mean we actually look to push down towards this 1135 to this 1031 area. This would bring us into this little target box that we've got here, and would actually be quite an interesting zone to see if we get a reaction. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this if we do actually see price come back down here. I would also be looking at the potential of coming back into this channel that we've got down here and see whether we actually get that retest. Now, if we do get a move down like this, what we need to be aware of is the other way we can count this is that this is a flat correction here in the corrective move where we're looking to break down deeper. Now, if we are looking at that idea, what we'd actually be looking for is that we have an additional 1-2 at the top end of this move. So if we do start to break down past this 0.1169, we'd have to be cautious that, even if we do have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we get another 4th and a 5th, we could actually still have this additional 4th and a 5th, which could look to push us down lower. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this zone if we do look to continue to break down here. Now, within the video, we also talked about that possibility that we could actually be looking for a more complex correction here, where we actually have this as an ABC. We're looking at this as an A, a B, and a C to the downside here. And then what we're looking for is that potential of a C wave back to the upside. Now, we do have some potential target areas here. The 1-to-1 would be here at this 2142. We have the 1.236 at this 2402, and the 1.618 here towards this 2892. Now, if we are looking at this in this way, we would be looking at this effectively as a bigger flat correction. Now, what we can get sometimes is when the B wave is actually as strong as this one is and we push down as deep, what we could see is that the 5-wave move to the upside and the C wave can either truncate and we get a running flat, or alternatively can be very strong in itself, in which case we can see a multiple of this 618 be reached. So this would actually be a 2.618 up here at this 4699. Now, I'm still looking out for that possibility that if we did get a bigger push to the upside here, this could just be A, B, and C, and this would be looking to actually complete a bigger B wave here before looking for that possibility of a bigger push to the downside. So make sure that you watch that macro video for more information on that. So within the idea of this having a C wave to the upside, what we'd be saying is ideally I wouldn't want to see this come down lower than this point that we currently have here, and I wouldn't want to see price revisit this 1318. Technically speaking, it's possible, but really from a structure point of view, if we start to break down and we get another leg down here, it becomes more likely that it is one of the other options. Now, if we are looking at it in this way, what we could argue rather that within this structure is that we have something along these lines, where instead of that, we have a W, we have an X, and we have this as an A, a B, a C wave to the downside. Now, technically speaking, we could actually still see this come down one more time here. And we could argue that within here, we have an additional move to the downside. We could see this potentially come down to this 1618 or this 1273 region. But like I said, I wouldn't really want to see this low get hit again, because it becomes less likely that we're actually just looking at this move in this way anymore. And it becomes more likely it's just an impulse at that point. So some other target areas would be this 1382 here at this 01301, and then this 1618 lower down here. Like I said, once we start to break down into those lower regions, it becomes less likely, but we'll still have to be on the lookout for this, because really at the moment it is just a three-wave structure here. We don't have the additional fourths and fifths to confirm this as an impulse. Even though we do have that possibility, we need to actually get those fourths and fifths play out here for us to confirm that this is an impulse. So if we do actually start to reverse to the upside here, I would be looking out for that possibility of a 5-wave move that could be looking to actually take us above these highs and looking to push us up quite away. Coming here into the 1 hourly, it's possible that we could have a low in place here through that secondary count that we're looking at. But ideally, what I wouldn't want to see here is basically price come back down below this 1380. And what I'd be looking for here then would be the potential that within this move, we have a diagonal pattern within this, where we actually look to complete this into this high, I would say. And we'd be looking at this potentially as a 1, a 2, and then we'd be looking for that possibility of a 3, 4, and a 5. Now, if this is the case, really, we need to hold this 1380, and invalidation of this would be this 1318. Now, if we do just see this actually develop to the downside here, and we have this as A, B, and C, coming back into this golden pocket area, this 1430 to this 1421, we could actually potentially look for a reversal to the upside. Now, this is a lower degree confidence count here. I'd want to see this prove itself, because currently, we do have that bearish potential. And ideally, what I'd want to see is primarily we need to see a 3-wave move down into this zone. We need to see this support hold, and then we need to see a 5-wave move off the back of this. Now, this 5-wave move that we'd be looking for here as a secondary count here towards this on this 3rd wave, we'd be looking for this to actually reach this zone of this 2015. Now, if we get a push up into this level, then we can start looking for that idea of an additional 4th and a 5th. And this would be looking to actually complete a 5-wave move to the upside. Now, once again, we'd have to be careful if we do see something like this actually developing, because as we talked about in the higher time frame video, there is the potential that this move could look to actually push up towards this 1-to-1 and be a truncation within here as a running flat. So we need to just be aware that that is always a possibility. But really, if this is going to be a flat correction here, what I want to see is that we'd get this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we'd be looking for a 3-wave move down, finding support again above this low, and then starting to push to the upside. So this is something to just keep an eye on. I am primarily still looking for this move to break down, but if we start to get the right structure here, what we could see is this move actually develop, and then we could actually see a push to the upside. But as long as we actually hold below that zone that we discussed for that bearish potential here, where we are looking for this as a 4th wave. So as long as we actually remain below this 1664 and we actually don't come back up and cross this 1856, primarily I will be looking for that continuation to the downside and these moves. What we just need to be aware of is that if we do come back down here in 3 waves, find support above this low, either we could see another leg up here where we get a push up towards the 1664 and this becomes ABC, and then we get a 4th wave and then we look to break down, or this starts to actually hold this support and break out this region. This count as a 5-wave sequence gets invalidated by crossing this wave 1 here of this 1845. But what we need to just be aware of is until we actually break this high here of this 2103, this whole move could also just develop as an additional 1 and 2 within this space, where we treat this as 1, we get a bigger 3-wave move up for a 2 that fails to take these highs, and then we see continuation down. So we're going to have to just be a bit patient with that one and actually see how the waves develop. Looking at the daily CPR lines here, what we can see is that we actually got a rejection of these central points. And now what I'm looking for is the potential to see a reaction off this R1 line here at this 1493. If we fail to hold that, some other targets could actually be a retest of this R2 at this 1449, this R3 at this 1382, and this lower range of this 1337 of this R4 line. So we'll be keeping an eye on this. If however we do reverse and get back above these, what we could actually potentially do is come back up here and look to retest the S1 line at the 1607, the S2 line at the 1671, S3 at the 1719, and the S4 at the 1784 region. So these are zones we could actually see price be gravitated to if we do manage to get back above these central CPR lines. Though for as long as we're below these, we need to be cautious of that direct break to the downside. Now price can move beyond these levels in both directions, but these are just areas that we can sometimes see price pivot off of. Looking at the weekly CPR here, what we can see is that these CPR lines are sitting right on where our fourth wave target is. So really until we actually break back above these, I would be still expecting further weakness and continuation to the downside. So if we do see price actually look to break down through these levels and push down towards this 1269, this would tie into that idea of having that additional fourth and a fifth wave here. Now if we do actually look to push down deeper, we have the R2 line sitting here at this 00962, and then we have this R3 line sitting here at this 00606 as a more extreme target. Once again, like I said, if we do start to break to the upside and get back above these CPR lines, what we could see is price actually be gravitated towards this S1 line at this 1943, the S2 at this 2299, and the S3 at this 2601. So we'll be keeping an eye on these levels. This S3 would actually be bringing us back into the center channel if we did see this move come up here. But really, if we were going to see something like this, it becomes likely that we're actually getting that impulse idea to the upside. Looking at the monthly CPR lines, what we can see is that we're actually in between the R2 and the R3. Now, we could actually see support come in here on this R3 line towards this 1468. So if we do see just a three-wave move down here, I'd be interested to see how we react around that level. If we do manage to hold this, this would tie into that idea of looking at this potentially as a continuation to the upside here and actually looking to come back and invalidate that five-wave count to the downside. However, if we just lose this zone, we could actually just see price, fall back towards that channel, like we said, and those lower target boxes. So gonna have to keep an eye on that. Now with this, if we do look to push back to the upside here, we could find potential rejection towards this 1663, this area here, this 1847, and then we have the CPR lines, which are very tightly spread on this, which is indicating volatility this month around this 2037. Now we have the S1 if we do manage to get back above these CPR lines at this area of this 2224, the S2 at this 2415, and the S3 at this 2603. So I would be keeping an eye on these levels if we do see price move back up here. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.